Hi everybody!
Hello!
We are heading into part 6, which will be our final vlog before we come home, and maybe we'll do another one when we get there. A bit of a
What was good,
bit of a wrap.
what sucked, what we'd recommend.
Yeah, we've had heaps of people ask us for like our itinerary and all that sort of stuff, so we might just put something together at the end that we can send out to everybody. So that would be good. So we've probably had our most intense week of the trip. So hence the no vlogging for a few more days than I would have appreciated. But
Little Miggy got a little bit sick, so I haven't really felt super great the last couple of days.
it's a bit run down. We've packed a lot in, so we'll try to get through it as quickly as possible, but we also want to show off a whole bunch of stuff that we did as well. So the last time we did a video, we were in Forks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
That feels like forever ago.
We spent the night there, and then we left the next day to drive to Seattle, not before doing a little tour around of some of the spots from Twilight. We went to the house that was meant to be the house, but it didn't look like the house, and I think it's not. They must have filmed it from the inside.
I have my suspicions that it might have been like just used for Bella's bedroom on the inside or something.
Yeah.
The house on the outside didn't really look like the house from the movie, so
No.
I'm suspicious.
I'm suspicious as well. But we didn't spend too much time on that. Before we drove off, we went to Olympic National Park on the way, which is just outside of Forks. So if you are planning on staying in the area, check it out because it's ridiculous. We went to, and the Olympic National Park just goes. It's like a quarter of the state of Victoria large. It's huge.
It was humongous. I kept seeing signs for it everywhere, and we're like, how is this bastard still going?
But we went to a particular spot called the Hall of Mosses, and we spent half a day wandering around there.
Yeah, it was sick.
It was amazing.
It was rainy like the whole time we were there, but it was still really, really nice, and it kind of added to the ambience of the place, I guess. So,
Yeah,
you could really see how all of the moss and all of the little mushrooms and stuff grow there. It was just real cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome. There was quite a few more people floating around than I thought there would have been on a rainy day like it was. And we saw an elk in the wild, like a huge elk. It was crazy. It was one of the best animals we've seen in the wild.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And there was like a fallen over log between us and where it was eating, and Joe got up and took a couple of little snippets of photos and videos and stuff, and then I was like, I want to get some too. So I got up there and I just started like inching out closer and closer on the log, and all I could hear behind me was Joe being like, Megan, get back here. Don't you take one step further.
If it cracked the shits and raced at her, she would have been gone.
He was cool. He was chill.
He was cool. He spent like an hour just munching on grass in that one area.
He was chill as. He was not going to rush at me.
But if he did, dead.
Could have been dead. Could have been disemboweled quite quickly. But anyway, moving on.
You don't want that American health system looking after us.
We had health insurance.
We did have insurance. We had insurance, Mum. So we left there after spending so much time there. It was magnificent, the whole area. I really recommend it. And then we drove, I think it was like 4 hours or something, to Seattle. We stayed in this place that was cheaper. Staying in the middle of Seattle was just expensive as we just couldn't afford it. But
oh yeah, I was like, why did we stay in Seattle?
Yeah, well, when we got there, we were like, pretty sure this is the bad part of town.
It was the rough end of town.
It was the
definitely.
rough end of town. The car park was not too exciting to be in at night time. But it was fine.
We locked both the locks on the doors at night, but
we made sure we were locked in, but it was fine. And in the morning we went to Pike Place Market, which is in Seattle. It's amazing. It is also home to the first ever Starbucks. So Miggy got yourself a drink.
I got my first pumpkin spice latte, which for some reason I was expecting to taste like pumpkin, but it doesn't. It tastes like the spice that they use in pumpkin flavored like desserts and things. So I was very impressed with how delicious it was, but it didn't taste like pumpkin, for those of you wondering.
Apparently you can get it from Starbucks at home now. I've heard that Chadston has it. I don't know about anywhere else, but
It was delicious. We'll drink again.
but yeah, the market was really cool. It was super touristy, but it was actually really nice anyway. It's in this building that's just like a rabbit warren. Like, it's not like a regular just walk around market. So it was a bit hard to find our way around, but it was really cool. We found a really cool comic book shop when we were there. And we found this other shop that sold 1,000,000,001 salt and pepper shakers.
I only got 2 sets.
How much time do we spend looking at salt and pepper shakers?
Probably at least half an hour. I just was like, I was overwhelmed by choice, and it was one of those times where you're just like, okay, I've made my choice. No, wait, I think I want those ones. So I felt very sorry for Joe, and it was about 1,000,000,000 degrees in the shop as well. So, and we were all like layered up in our coats and bloody scarves and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, it was a high pressure situation.
But that was really cool. Anyways, they had lots of little weird things there, and they had like this flower shop that sold dried flower arrangements, which you
Yeah.
cut and stick over.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I got this really cool shirt that I'm wearing today. Don't know if you can see that, but because there's apparently otters everywhere in Seattle, we saw none while we were there. So
we didn't go looking for them. We went to look for them once, but
yeah,
that was in
But-
Oregon.
I got this cool shirt though, so that's pretty cool.
Just quietly, Seattle is also the home of Bigfoot. So there's Bigfoot things everywhere.
And Nirvana.
And fun. After that, we went to Stocker Farm. I'd been promising Megan that we'd do some Halloweeny
Pumpkin patch
things. So I found this place called Stocker Farm, and that was not too far out of Seattle. It was like a half an hour away, and it's a legit farm. But they had it was pumpkins as far as the eye could see, and they had the cornfield maze, which was like mud everywhere.
The guy at the start was like, "Oh, good, you've got your boots on. They will get wet." And we were like, "Okay, that's cool. It's gonna be a little bit muddy."
We've been walking around in the mud anyway. It was fine.
There was like lakes of water in the maze where you had to try and walk through. We should have had gumboots on, or like even those things that you wear that come right up to your waist when you're like fishing in the river. We probably needed those for this corn maze.
But it was a lot of fun. We stuffed around in the corn a lot. And then we came out and we went through the pumpkin patch, which is crazy. All these people trundling out with these little trolley things behind them, like, you know, like that sort of trolley that like kids put their toys in and carry behind them. It was like that, except that's how they went out and chose the pumpkins that they were taking home to carve. Awesome. We don't have this at home, and it was really fun.
It just looks like the Halloween version of like when those people go out and pick out a Christmas tree to cut down and take home. It was like the Halloween version of that, and I wish that we had that back home and that it was like pumpkin season at Halloween time for us, because they would be sick.
Yeah. And you had pumpkin pie.
I did. I rewarded myself for escaping the corn maze with pumpkin pie, and it was also delicious. Very good.
Yep. So we did lots of fun things there. That was lots of fun. It was kind of aimed at kids, but
Screw the kids.
Screw the kids. It was good for us.
Yeah.
After that, we just went back to the hotel for the day, and then the next day we didn't do much. We except fly from Seattle to Florida, Orlando, where Disneyland is. Disney World. Our second trip to a Disney resort. And this one's much bigger than the one in LA, I thought.
And what realization did you come to?
Megan had been trying to convince me that we needed at least 2 days for Disney World over in Florida, and I was like, come on, we've done 2 days at Disneyland over here. I don't think we need another 2 days.
Surely you only need one.
Yeah, we could have probably done about 4 or 5 days. It was ridiculous. So we packed 5 Disney Worlds into 2 days. So, well, let's go back a step. We flew into Orlando and we were getting picked up by the Disney Magical Express, which we were very excited about. It's basically just a bus.
It was a bus.
It was a bus.
That had Disney characters on the side. So I was expecting some cool like Hogwarts-esque train, but Disney, it was a bus.
It was a bus. But that was okay. It was kind of nice to get picked up from the airport by a motor transport and taken to our hotel, because every other place we'd dealt with hire cars, and it was a bit of a, not too bad, but a few more steps. So we didn't have to think so much this time, which is good. We got to our hotel. It was the All-Star Movies resort that we stayed at. There's about 50 billion choices you can stay at for Disney resorts, and it is more expensive to stay at a Disney resort than just getting an Airbnb or staying at a hotel in town or whatever, but it was really good.
It was awesome. And yeah, it was worth it, I reckon.
I feel like it was worth money. You get extra hours at the theme parks where regular patrons aren't there, which we didn't use for a couple of them because we were too tired to get up too early in the morning. But one of them we stayed back late because they had the evening extra hours, so that was really cool. Oh, I'm so tired.
We're very tired.
So yeah, the way we stayed, our section of it was 101 Dalmatians. So they had the Dalmatians running around everywhere of them, and these statues that were just like 5 stories high, which is really cool.
And the swimming pool was Fantasia themed, so it had Mickey up on this like podium thing in his little like wizard costume, and it had like water shooting out into the pool. That was sick.
Yep, I made an effort to go to the pool every day. Yep. Even if it was for 5 minutes.
Yeah. One of the days when we come back from the theme parks, it was so hot. We were sweaty as, and the pool had like 10 minutes before it was going to close. When we got back to the hotel, we ran to our room on our little sore feet that we'd been walking around on all day. We ran back to the room, like threw off our clothes and put our bathers on, ran back to the pool, and they'd already like, I think, started to like usher everyone out, and we pleaded with the lifeguard to let us just jump in the pool for like 2 minutes and have a quick little cool off.
They were actually really cool. Like we were in the water for at least 5 or 10 minutes even before we climbed out. They didn't tell us off. There were still other people hovering on the other side, so yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, day one we went to Hollywood Studios in the morning. Do you want to talk about that?
It's kind of a little bit like, if anyone's ever been to Movie World in Australia, it's kind of like that sort of. It had like, yeah, like movie star kind of stuff everywhere, and like all the little shops and stuff that look like they're from like Hollywood kind of shops. And it pretty much was like the smaller of all of the theme parks, I think. And really the only things we really checked out there was, I think we went to Galaxy's Edge again because they had that there, which I feel like it was pretty smart on their part putting Galaxy's Edge there because there wasn't that much else that we personally would want to do there. So I'd say they probably tried to like up visitors to that park by putting Galaxy's Edge there, which was...
I had the blue milk this time. The first time I was like, nah, milk and Joe, nah. But I was, we talked to people there that were drinking it, and they were like, nah, it's not really milky, it's more like shaved ice type of drink. And I ummed and ahed, and I didn't get it that time, and then the whole time I was like, I should have just done it. And this time I got a blue milk. It's too milky. It's too milky.
What a shock. The blue milk was too milky.
I got rum in it, which made it weirder.
It was pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. But yes, it had to be blue milk.
It was nice enough, but it was very strong. So she had about 3 or 4 big sips of it, and she's like, I don't want this anymore, you take it. But it was just too hot. It was too hot for a milky drink. It was far too hot. Like, I was not prepared for how hot it would be in Florida. It is so friggin' hot, and just like the humidity just absolutely roasts you.
It's more tropical.
Yeah. And I'd, be trying to wear makeup, and you'd step outside for 20 minutes and your makeup would just turn to slime, and it just,
As someone who doesn't wear makeup, I didn't mind it. And it was alright.
It was
as long as we could get in the water, it was alright.
Every 5 minutes, I'd have to be like patting my face down because it was just like
it was super sweaty.
Yeah.
So we spent the first half of the day there, and then the second half of the day we went to the Animal Kingdom, which was my favourite.
Yeah,
all of them.
I reckon it was probably my favourite as well.
It's kind of like a Disney zoo. It was like there was like smaller areas, but they also had an open range, like Werribee kind of thing, where they take you on the bus tour around and you can snap photos of all of the different animals and stuff. But yeah, we saw some really cool animals. What was that one that was like a zebra, but a giraffe as well?
I don't remember. I remember it, but I don't remember what it was called.
You see the top half of it and you thought it was a giraffe, and then you saw the bottom half of it and you thought it was a zebra.
It was weird.
Yep.
I got to see flamingos in real life, which was pretty cool. They were cute. They were standing on one leg like they do, apparently. And then when my legs were really sore later on in the trip, I was like, I'm just going to be a flamingo for a while, and I'd just stand on one leg for a while and give the other one a rest. Wow.
So that was a big day, and then we got back to the hotel, had a swim. Then the next day we hit 3 parks. It was ridiculous, it was too much, but we did it. The first one was Typhoon Lagoon, which is a water park, like Wet n Wild. It was awesome. Like, it was an extra thing that you kind of got with these park hopper tickets that we got. So we weren't originally planning on going there, but once I found there was a water park, we have to go. It was really cool. They had the river that flows around, which is really awesome. They had the biggest wave-making pool that I've ever seen.
It was huge.
And people were getting smashed.
Like, these weren't just like little like fun waves like at the bloody, what's the one near our house?
Exact.
Yeah, it's not just like, these were like meters
You could
high.
surf them.
You could have had a surfboard out there and you're surfing on, and the squeals of people in these waves, and
They set the alarms off, so they know, like, but so many children were out there.
They were just getting annihilated by these huge.
So as you walk around the park, you can hear the little squeals and
Yeah.
everybody just getting slammed. It was probably my favourite part. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed other people getting destroyed by
It
it.
was hilarious.
And we went on a whole bunch of the water slides and things, which was really cool.
And the one where you go in the nice little tubes and you just float lazily around the whole like park in the river. Yeah, it was great.
Yep. We could only spend a couple hours there because we had to pack in so much that day, but I really enjoyed it and I'd come back. No worries, that would be on the top of my list if we get back here. After that we went to the Magic Kingdom, which is pretty much the one everybody knows. It's the most famous one of all.
It's the one with like the big castle and all the kind of main princessy kind of stuff.
Yep, that was your favourite, wasn't it? You said.
I reckon I liked Animal Kingdom probably the best, but Magic Kingdom was pretty close. But we didn't get to spend too long there this time. We went on the Haunted Mansion ride, which was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, they had at the start this little room thing that you'd go into, and it had pictures all on the wall and stuff, like a scary, spooky mansion kind of thing. And the room like stretched as you were standing in it, which was really cool and trippy. You could tell this ride had been there for years and years and years, but it had that kind of like classic sort of kitschy kind of vibe about it, and yeah, I think it's one of their most popular ones, even though it's been there for years.
Speaking of rides, we didn't talk about at Animal Kingdom the Pandora.
Okay, backtrack. Yeah, let's backtrack to the first day of Disney stuff at Animal Kingdom. They have Pandora, like the world out of Avatar. It was so cool.
I don't even like Avatar that much.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and we went on a ride there that was like kind of exploring the Na'vi kind of people's area and all of the like glowy stuff and like the weird little animals and stuff that they have. And there was this one part where it had the like kind of like shaman kind of lady, and we thought it was an actual person in a costume, but it was just animatronics that were amazing.
The animatronics were crazy. You couldn't you couldn't tell that it wasn't a living being. Like, yeah, it was much bigger than a regular person because it was an avatar size.
Yeah.
But we were like, it's got to be something that was moving too fluently, and the face was moving just perfectly. But yeah, no, it was animatronics.
It wasn't until you sort of realised that the movements were like a little bit too
Perfectly repeated
every like loop that it did, but yeah, it was just so well done. But then yeah, going back to Magic Kingdom on day 2, what was the other one that had? Oh no, sorry, I'm just trying to think. That one had some animatronics that were better than others. Yeah, the Haunted Mansion was a little bit older, but it was still pretty cool. And we went on Splash Mountain, which was like one of those like log ride kind of things where you go through.
Splash Mountain, that's another thing in its own right.
What do you mean?
So Splash Mountain was really cool, except we got stuck on it.
Wonder where you were going with that.
The ride broke down, and we got stuck on it with a whole bunch of other people, obviously. But I reckon we were sitting there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, at least 10-15 minutes probably.
The people in front of us had done it like a billion times. They reckon it was their favourite ride. So we had like experienced hands with us, and they're like, yeah, it's our favourite too. Seems to break down often though.
But they just leave you like sitting there in the middle of this ride, and they keep the music going, which was the probably most irritating music that you could possibly be broken down having to listen to for 15 minutes.
Oh, no. It's slightly better than It's a Small World After All.
Yeah, okay.
Slightly better than that, but still in that vein.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer and Marge go on that romantic ride that's meant to be kind of a little bit spooky, and they break down in the middle of it. And there's just a witch like constantly jumping out and like laughing in Marge's face. That's kind of what it reminded me of. There's just all these like little animals everywhere, and yeah, we kind of were like a little bit like by the time it started going again.
But the splash at the end was really cool.
It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else did we do there? We saw the parade, which was awesome. We snuck on really last minute. We snuck on to Peter Pan's flight or something like that, which was awesome.
It was really cool.
The lines for it were always really long, and we couldn't get a fast pass for it because we missed out. And right before the park was about to close, we snuck onto it because the line was a bit shorter. And it was on these like little individual boat things that you jump on, and you get to kind of like go through a really shortened version of the movie. And yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. Even the waiting area for that was so cool.
Yeah, in the waiting area they had like little light that was Tinkerbell that would dash around the rooms, because it was like you walk through the bedrooms and places that she'd go, things would happen, which was really cool. But my favorite part was there's a part of the line where you go through and there's shadows on the wall, and you can like make little shadow things, but for some, I don't even know how they did it, these like shadows of bells would turn up, and if you just like use your shadow to flick the bell, the bells would start ringing like exactly on point. And also they had butterflies going around, and if you put your hand up, the butterflies would come and land on the shadow of your hand.
It was so cool. I don't know how they did it, but it was awesome.
It was really well done.
Yeah.
My other favourite part was on the ride where you'd start off on the tracks and you'd be going on the track, and suddenly you'd just start taking off
you'd
the track.
See the end of the track, like the track on the bottom would just end, and you didn't realise that you were attached to something on the top as well. And you'd be like, holy shit, where are we going to go? And the boat would just like lift up, and it was magical.
It was really magical.
It was so awesome.
It was really cool. So yeah, that was awesome. Then after the last place we went was Epcot for the day, because we knew Epcot had the magic hour, which was the extended time only for people staying in the resorts late at night. So we knew that was going to be open until like 11, so we went there last. Epcot was the one I was really interested to visit, because I've read a book about Walt Disney and basically about Epcot, and his whole thing when he created it, it wasn't meant to be a theme park, it was meant to be a place where people would live and work, and it was meant to be his version of a utopia suburb, pretty much. And I was curious to see what happened because I knew that after he died, he didn't quite finish it before he died, and his brother took over, Roy, before it was completed, and they've really just turned it into another theme park. I was hopeful that you'd see a whole bunch of stuff around what he planned, and to be honest, we didn't really go through everything thoroughly because it was night time and we were just dead tired and we were about to collapse. We did see some cool stuff there. They had a really cool light show. We went to like an English pub for fish and chips. We did
and we did like a Nemo ride thing.
Yep.
We did a couple of rides that like the wait times were only like 5 minutes for them, so we were just like, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And then we
saw the dugong.
Oh my god, we saw dugongs. They were so cute.
They had like a sea area and a land area and an imagination area. We went on an imagination ride and stuff, which was funny. But yeah, and they had this world of food type thing happen on at the moment. So they had a whole bunch of foods from different places. They had an Australian one.
We were like, what are they going to have at the Australian one?
Lamb chops were alright. They had like a shrimp on the barbie type thing.
And then they had pavlova, which
deconstructed.
New Zealand people will be curious to know that even Epcot think that pavlova is Australian.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was a little bit like disappointed but expected to be in what I hoped would be there because I really enjoyed the background as to how Epcot was created, but I kind of expected it, so I wasn't entirely surprised. It was still good, but I don't think we spent enough time there to really get into everything.
No, and it was dark by the time we got there, so we sort of probably didn't see a lot of the stuff because the parks are super dark at night time, which is kind of weird.
There's not much light in there.
But before we left there, we went on the Frozen...
Oh yeah, we went on the Frozen ride. What was it called? I can't remember.
Frozen Ever After or something like that?
That's it. Yeah, that was rad.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was another one where the animatronics were just off the chart. Like, they were amazing. So well done. And yeah, it was another one of those ones where you kind of just in like a little boat thing that floats around on the water and you go on a couple of nice little like dips that give you like a tiny splash, and yeah, it was super well done.
Yeah, it was really good. Really went well. So that wrapped our Disney adventures up. So that was 5 theme parks in 2 days.
We were wrecked.
And then we backed it up. The next day, we went to Universal Studios and the Island of Adventure, which is basically Universal's 2 theme parks that are right next to each other.
So we realised we did 7
theme parks in 3 days.
Yeah, 7 theme parks in 3 days.
Universal was awesome. It was super cool. I like that Universal, Disney is kind of its own thing in its own space, but Universal, and it was the same in Japan when we went to that one in Kyoto, is when you're walking into it, they've got all these restaurants and shops and stuff outside of the theme parks, which I liked because I had a lot more food options. Not that we went to them this time, but it was really cool. But yes, so they had the Simpsons World.
Yeah, that was
which was
so
cool.
It was awesome. They had Moe's Tavern and they had Krusty Burger and Quickie
Duff
Mart.
Brewery.
Yeah, it was just so cool.
Yeah, no, I really loved that part. It was really cool. And then we also had the Marvel World. I don't know what's going to happen with that in the future because Disney own Marvel now, so the Marvel world here was very much based off like the 90s cartoon, that era of Marvel, which is my favourite, so I loved to see. I went on more rides at Universal than we'd gone in all the other theme parks combined. What did I go on? I went on the Spider-Man ride.
You went on the Transformers ride.
Transformers ride was
Men in
sick.
Black.
Men in Black was awesome.
The only one I went on was a Jurassic Park one, and
because we'd gone on it already.
It was the same that we'd went on in Japan, and I knew that it was fun. All of the other ones
was heaps though.
Yeah, it was huge. All of the other rides, I'm sure they were very, very cool, but they were all ones that involved like 3D, but you're on a roller coaster thing as well. which they just make me so sick, so I just can't go on them.
I get icky on regular roller coasters, especially when they go upside down stuff. It really like wrecks my neck and stuff. But these ones, I like them heaps better. They've got 3D glasses that you put on. It's like a big soundstage with a little roller coaster inside it, but it never flips you completely upside down or anything. But it was the same as the Evangelion ride that I went on when we were in Japan. It just blew my mind. It was way cooler. I don't get as scared on them either. You might not be cool on it, but I am, and I'm just a little bit better with these rides than you are. And then there's like regular people up here that are fine with roller coasters.
Yeah, no, I wish I liked them, but they just made me too sick.
Yep.
Too sick.
So after we'd been there, we went to... there is Harry Potter.
What do you mean there is Harry Potter? That's like a sidebar thing that you just... That's like the only thing that I went there for was Harry Potter.
Let's talk about Harry Potter.
Okay, so we realised before we went to Universal that it's split into two separate parks. I was really excited to go here because they had a Diagon Alley section that has all of the shops and like Gringotts and all that kind of stuff. And then they have the other section which has Hogsmeade and Hogwarts Castle and stuff like that. I thought this was all just in the one park, and we found out the night before that it's split into two separate parks, and you have to pay either entry to each individual park. So Diagon Alley's at one, and then Hogsmeade and Hogwarts are at the other one. So you have to pay for either two separate tickets on 2 different days or whatever, or get a park hopper ticket, which was $170 US. American. So if you think about how much it costs for two of us converted to Australian dollars, I don't even want to think about it, but we did it because I was like,
it was like $500.
Yeah, it was probably about $500 for us to go to both these parks for one day. Anywho, worth it. I'm gonna convince myself. But yeah, the Diagon Alley section was so cool. It had all the shops and Ollivanders and the bank with the goblins where you could like go in and you could transfer your money across for galleon and stuff like that. So
they had the bus with the
the night bus. Yeah, they had the night bus there with the little shrunken head and stuff, and the shrunken head like interactively talked with you. It was so cool. And they had the same thing where you could go into Ollivander's one shop and Ollivander would pick someone out from the crowd to like choose their wand that day. Here's me dressed like in Harry Potter zone. I'm like, yes, pick me, Ollivander, like you want to pick me. Of course, a stupid little snot-nosed child got picked, didn't they? Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
We knew as soon as we went in, all these little kids got put to the front and we were like, they're just going to pick a child. It's going to go to a child. And sure enough. I actually preferred that in Japan. I know that it helped that that you got picked in Japan to be the person who picked their wand. But I actually probably liked it. Even though it was half in English and half in Japanese, I really probably liked it better.
The whole thing or just that shop?
Just that shop.
Oh, okay. Well, to be completely honest...
Diagon Alley was new to us because they didn't have that over in Japan. The Hogsmeade they had in Japan. That was very much same.
Yeah, it was pretty similar, yeah. I think I slightly preferred the Japan one a little bit more because it wasn't as crowded. And the one in America, there was a lot of people just sitting around like plonked everywhere that obviously had no interest in Harry Potter. They were just dragged there either with their kids or like friends or whatever, and they just were like sitting around on their phones, and you could tell they just weren't interested in it, and it kind of ruined it. Went into Ollivander's, didn't get picked out for the wand ceremony, that was fine. Bought a wand anyway. I got Fleur Delacour's wand to go with my little hat that I was wearing for the day. And yeah, so I went around the park, got to do some magic again. So you stand on the little area and you do the little spell and something would happen in the environment, which was awesome. What else? There was a tiny little bit of Nocturne Alley as well, which was really dark and creepy and cool. and then you had to line up to get the Hogwarts Express. You could actually get on the Hogwarts Express.
It took like an hour of lining up.
Yeah, which by this point, this was day 3, our feet were killing us. So we had to line up for an hour to get on the Hogwarts Express, which was really cool. Like boarding the train and stuff was awesome. First going onto the platform was awesome, all that kind of stuff. When you got on the train and it set off to go to Hogsmeade, you were meant to be able to see some sort of little show thing going on through the window.
When you get in and sit down, the window, it has like a brick wall with like the steam coming up, which was obviously that's what you'd have at the station. It was meant to do other things, but it didn't change off that the entire time.
Yeah, so it was like it was just stuck on this like brick wall scene the whole trip, and you could hear in the music that like stuff was meant to be happening. Like I think maybe like Dementors might have come or something, not really sure, but yeah, when we pulled up at Hogsmeade and everyone got off the train, it had obviously happened to everyone in all the carriages because people were pissed. The fact that they lined up for over an hour and this like thing didn't do what it was meant to do, people were cutting sick, but we were just like, oh well, screw it, let's just go enjoy the rest of it. But
we were annoyed, but we were too tired at that point to do anything.
Yeah, and I was just like, not gonna let it ruin the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, so went to Hogsmeade, went to the Three Broomsticks, got some delicious wizard food and drinks. What else?
And then we went around to the rest of the park for a bit, just to see what else was there. That's where we went on the Jurassic Park ride.
Yeah, and that was where Marvel was and stuff. And then later on, after it was dark, we came back to Hogwarts and watched the Dark Arts show on the castle. They did like this most amazing light and kind of fireworks show on the castle.
I actually filmed the whole thing, so I'm going to post that separately to this.
Yeah, it was so cool. The way they'd done it was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and they also had in Hogsmeade, every now and again they'd have like little scenes that they do where Death Eaters would appear out of, you know, little alleyways and stuff, and they'd come around through the crowd and kind of like
be intimidating.
Yeah, and like little kids would get out their wand and like challenge them and stuff. It was really cool. And one of the Death Eaters booped the top of my hat, so that was quite funny.
Yep. Yeah. So that was really cool. We were absolutely destroyed by the time we got home from there. And then when we got back to the hotel, it was late. I don't even know.
Well, by the time we got back and we had to pack our bags and stuff, I think it was at least 11 o'clock by the time we packed all of our stuff up.
And we had to catch the Magical Express back to the airport at 3:15 in the morning.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it was probably close to midnight by the time we got to bed. But of course, because we were like worried about how not much sleep we were going to get and making sure we didn't get up too late and stuff, we hardly got any sleep that night. So we were like husks of human beings the next morning at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You can see why we went a while without doing a video.
Yeah, so it was just like, it was such long days and so much packed in that we were just so exhausted every time we got home. I'm pretty sure we went through about 50 band-aids on our little feet trying to not get blisters at all the theme parks and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, so we ended up catching the plane, which was good this time. We didn't miss it. And then we flew back to LA, which is where we are right now. We're just staying at a hotel near the airport this time. We're not fluffing around doing too much in LA. Because we've got our flight home this evening to Australia, which is a 15.5-hour flight, which we're not looking forward to.
Don't want to do it.
Don't want to. But we are looking forward to being back at home in our own beds, our own pillows.
And seeing Moe.
We miss the cat.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to going back to work. It's been great not moving for work. I like my work. Still not looking forward to going back.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to having some nights in our own bed though.
I'm looking forward to all the food I like.
Yeah, little Joey's been a bit struggling with the food situation.
Especially these last few days. Since we got to Disney, we haven't been staying anywhere that has like a supermarket around, and so my options have been super limited.
I've been fine.
I packed Vegemite and brought it with us, and it was one of the better things that I packed, I reckon, especially for the first half of the trip. I had Vegemite to Smart. But yeah, that brings us up to now. So we're spending the day flopping around in the hotel, and then we're catching the plane home tonight.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
We'll see you when we're back in Australia.
We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. Been here for 84 years. There's just no way out. Unless